Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the first official episode of Coolin with Coach Breeze. I am, of course, your game day drip coordinator, Coach Breeze, and today I got a special interview. This is somebody that I look at as a brother, a friend. We've been roommates, we've been teammates in middle school, high school, and college. I've known this dude at this point more than half my life. So I'm gonna bring him up in a second, and y'all call out with me. So now introducing to you the wide receiver coach for Lexington Catholic High School in Lexington, Kentucky, my dog, Coach Jelani Irby.
What's happening? What's happening, brother?
What's going on with you, man? I appreciate you for jumping on with me today on short notice, but I had something on my heart and I figured I'd holler at my brother and we can get it together real quick. How you feeling?
Big facts. I'm always cool. You know how that go.
I mean, what better place to come when you cool it than to come cool it with Coach Breeze? You feel me?
Big facts. Big facts. Always.
So as I told the people, we've known each other for a very long time. Both born and raised in DC. We've been classmates, we've been roommates, we've been teammates. Middle school at we ain't got to get into the schools, but middle school, high school, two different colleges. Like, you know, give the people a little insight into Coach Irby.
Well, Coach Irby or Coach Herb, however you want to look at me as. I'm just one of those dudes, man. I'm trying to be here for the youth, and I consider myself a player's coach. But also on the flip side of that, I'm not really a huge fan of that term because players coach makes it seem like all you can do is kind of just pander to the kids. And
Mhm.
I'm sure you've heard that before. Just pandering to the kids, and like you're not an X's and O's guy. And I know for a fact I am, being a former offensive coordinator and probably soon to be one again. And I'm pretty sure you'll be one soon as well. And
Hope so.
we're both X's and O's guys, but we're really good with relationships and simplifying the I guess the hard or difficult things for young men to enable to succeed. But that's how I look at myself. And then, being a former player or maybe not a former player, maybe soon to try it again one last time, but whatever it is, just, trying to be there and just, I guess, achieve at the highest levels.
So before we get into what the next step might be for you, what got you into coaching initially?
Honestly, some of our former coaches that me and you played for in high school,
Mhm.
uh, dudes like Coach Mark, Coach Rock, or excuse me, Principal Haith. Don't be mad at me, Coach. Principal Haith, the late great Coach Fleming. My uncle,
Absolutely.
my uncle's a former coach. Coached out at Cardozo, Eastern. Coached out at he coached somewhere in Maryland. I can't remember who he coached with or for, but just having things like that take place and just seeing that my entire life, man. And then being a player, you're around it, and guys like us, we grind and we're yes, we're good athletes, but we're
I
also
guess.
technically sound dudes. I was trying to figure out another explanation for it, but technically sound wide receivers.
Mhm.
And then I'm sure you can attest to this as well. You look over and you see a young man trying to take 50 steps at the line of scrimmage before he even gets 5 yards. It irks you, dog. So you start looking at it and you're like, man, I can get you so further ahead than the YouTube videos, dog.
Man, listen, if you sit here and get me talking about technique and fundamentals, we're gonna be here on this interview all night, man. But
Man.
but I absolutely 100% understand what you're talking about with every kid, wanting to be, Odell Beckham or Justin Jefferson, just trying to emulate what they see on TV and understanding that's probably they can do that because they're them. You are not that yet. We can get there, but it's steps you got to take, to get to that point. So since you've been coaching for I think it's year 11 or 12 for you now.
Year 13.
You're 13. So you've had some
Yeah,
highs. You you've had some highs. You've had some lows. I know you've coached several, professional players. You know what I mean? What we understand what coaching is obviously, on the field you want to be as successful as possible, right? You want to win games, you want to win championships, you want to develop your kids and get your kids to the next level. That part is understood as far as coaching. what's next for Coach Irby? Like, what if outside of coaching, what else have you been doing, and what might be next for you?
Just to cut half of that out, or not half of that, but cut half the story out. So coming out of high school, went to some different institutions. Things worked out, maybe didn't work out in different ways.
Hmm.
I made the jump, or at least tried to make the jump at a big time SEC school, a school that me and you both attended,
Hmm.
and didn't work out there for logistical reasons. And just play some arena ball and yeah, talk to some teams. Um, Various leagues, different arena leagues like the IFL, the now defunct AFL. Even though I've heard stuff that they might be coming back, I'm not sure on that one.
Hmm.
Talked to some XFL teams, now the UFL, with them combining with the USFL. Went to some workouts down in Atlanta, one down in Florida for the Vegas Vipers that are now defunct. And I forgot who with the Atlanta workout or who the Atlanta team was. I'm eyeing a date possibly this October out in San Diego to possibly go out for a workout. I have a contact out there who's coaching in the UFL now. So he told me if I'm full go and I'm confident that there's some stuff going on in September and October and maybe give it one more chance. So I might not only be Coach Herb, I might be returning back to just Jelani Irby, the I don't know if I'll be X or Z or whatever position it is, but I might have a chance to try one last time. And plus, I just like doing stuff that people just don't want to try.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
at 34, most people would be like, man, just give it up. But I mean, I don't have nothing to lose.
I
So why
mean,
not?
you still in good shape. You can still run routes and catch the ball, and obviously your passion and desire to do it is still there, man. You got my support, brother. Best wishes moving forward. And I hope the opportunity presents itself for you to make something shake and do something still on the field. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, 100, 100. I appreciate that
Of course,
always.
of course. Now with us both being former receivers, receiver coaches, you trying to be an active receiver again, I would be remiss if I did not ask you this next question. So
Um,
I'm not sure if you've been following on social media, right? As a receiver, everybody wants to label you the next diva. It doesn't matter X, Z, F, 8, whatever. Doesn't matter NFL, college, high school, XFL, AFL, IFL. Playing receiver, you are automatically labeled a diva until proven otherwise. It's not fair, but it is what it is. So I would be remiss if I did not ask you. First of all, have you been following this Brandon Ayuk situation?
yeah, I mean, probably not the way I could have, but
Hmm.
social media tells all now. All you gotta do is get on Instagram, scroll down the phone. Man, I done seen so many things, different commanders, uh, I guess accounts, different
Hmm.
fan accounts, and
Hmm.
I seen he was on the pivot with Ryan Clark, Shannon
Shout
Crowder,
out to
and
the pivot.
Fred Taylor. Shout out to the pivot for sure. Yeah, I saw he was on there. And I didn't even know him and Jaden Daniels were teammates in college at one point.
Yeah,
And
Arizona State. Not only
yeah,
that, they're like best friends apparently. Like,
yeah, like I didn't even know any of that. So that's what caught my attention was the clips people were showing with them at Arizona State.
mhm.
So yeah, man, like I have followed it, and it has kind of piqued my interest a little bit because, of course, you put him with Scary Terry. That's nasty. So
So to anybody who has been under a rock or maybe hasn't seen it, long story short, Brandon Ayuk, current current 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk under contract. Essentially, he wants a new contract. And the 49ers have paid everybody but him. And we can all assume Brock Purdy is next up on that list, being the quarterback, right? He's next in line to get a big deal from San Francisco. So Brandon Ayuk wants a new contract, and he's basically taking it upon himself to, okay, y'all don't want to pay me. I'm going to essentially show my ass every chance I get. He's been on TikTok and Twitter saying, and the pivot, mind you, on camera, saying the 49ers don't want me. I want to be a 49er, but this is my Jaden, referring to Jaden Daniel. This is my best friend, and I would love to play with him in Washington, naming the Commanders by name. If that doesn't work with the Commanders, I would love to play in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin again, naming the team, which is just that's a big no-no. You beefing with your current team is one thing, but to go further than that and then say like name other teams that you would play for while you're currently under contract is a big no-no in sports, even in this era of social media where everything is discussed and negotiated in public on social media. What do you think about how like his course of action? And the most recent step in this saga is he took to TikTok and posted a series of pictures about like, what I've been doing lately. And most of it was like him hanging out with his girl and them on vacation and at the beach and around the crib. One of these pictures just so happened to be a screenshot of what is pretty evidently Commander's practice film. Now, you and I both being coaches, we understand you can't just access practice film for another team. That's just not that's not something that happens. You don't. I can't. You and I are both coaches. I can't look at your film unless you give me access to it, and vice versa.
Right.
So, for a player who's under contract with another team to have a screenshot, we don't know. He could have been. It could have been a screenshot, a still shot. He could have been watching it. We don't know. But for him to have an image of Commander's practice film is a little alarming to some people. What do you think of the course of action that Brandon Aiyuk is taking? Again, understanding his frustration with wanting a new deal, but what do you think of the course of action that he's taking as far as voicing his displeasure on social media?
I definitely wouldn't have went that route. However, I we all grow up, right?
Mhm.
You know, when I was younger, I would just give one side, but Irby done grown up a little bit. You feel me? So I try to look at both sides of the spectrum every single
Oh,
time.
I was around for the Irby that would have jumped on social media and been beefing, with his
Yeah,
prospective team. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. So I try to look at it on one side. I definitely wouldn't have done that. Like that's
Mhm.
he wilding. He wilding. I don't care if somebody sent you that film, don't post it. It's the same thing I tell kids that I coach. Just because you can, don't mean you should do it.
And that's my biggest thing is that Brandon Ayuk is a grown man. He's free to hang out with whoever he wants to hang out with. Nobody can take that right away from him.
Yeah.
But posting a picture or posting a video is a personal choice. And I've never posted a picture on social media I did not intend to post.
Right.
So for me, for anything that ends up there are several stages you have to go through to post these things in most cases.
What? You gotta go scroll through the gallery,
Like,
dog. They ask you for the filter. They ask you for
are you sure you want to
everything.
post this? Do you like, you know what I'm saying? There
What?
are there are
The
you this
caption, dog.
right. So this is not just, oh, this slipped in there. Like, all of these things are intentional. So I feel like, again, I understand your frustration, but you and I both know, as adults, men, black men even, the worst thing, one of the worst things that can possibly happen for anybody is to be convicted in the court of public opinion, right? Regardless of what the truth of the matter may actually be, once
Yeah.
you are found guilty by the court of public opinion, most times you cannot then shake whatever the new opinion of you is. So with Brandon Ayuk doing a lot of this stuff, he didn't have a reputation for being a bad guy, a diva, a headache, none of that stuff. But now, with the path that he's now taken, it's like, bro, you're looking like you're a cancer. And now people who supported him are like, bro, like, you doing too much.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have done that. He's wilding, and like you said, the court of public opinion, he's definitely losing that. On the flip side of that, we all understand it's a business,
Hmm.
and the way he's going about it is wrong. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying, from a business perspective, he's looking at it like, all right, I'm gonna do whatever I can. I'll be the bad guy later. I
Right.
compare it to this is what I would tell. This is a prime example. I'm glad we on this. I used to tell people this same thing about James Harden. James Harden's one of them dudes. He does not care about how you view him. When he
Right.
wanted to get up out of Houston, the OKC thing was different. That had run his course. He was a six man, and he ain't even no six man. But after the whole Houston situation, he didn't care what he looked like. The man purposely gained like 50 pounds of water
Showed up with a
weight.
fat suit on, man.
Yeah, with of water weight. It had to be something.
Yeah,
It had
because
to be
he,
a
he he
water
dropped it
bed.
as soon as he got happy.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Got to
Man,
Brooklyn. He's skinny James Harden again. He did
yeah.
not care. The same thing when he got out of Brooklyn. Where did he go out to Brooklyn? Did he go straight to the Clippers?
Don't
No, he
don't
was
get
in
me
Philly.
don't yeah don't get me the
He
line.
was
I
He was
It's
in
hard to keep
Philly.
up with.
Yeah,
And don't get me
yeah, yeah. He
wrong,
was
like
in Philly.
some people take pride in playing the villain, or you know what I mean,
Yeah,
even in wrestling, like sometimes the good guy got to turn into the bad guy to get over. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a heel turn is necessary. Not to say that that's across all forms of life, but again, I understand the thought process behind it. But I just think at this point, it's I think he's using Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to for leverage that he doesn't really have. And
yeah,
not only is it reflecting poorly on himself, but now he's dragging Jaden Daniels into it because every bit of Commanders information that comes out is attached to Jaden Daniels, who has yet to play an NFL game, even have
yeah.
a official padded NFL practice to this point. So I just, I get it. I get it. Get your money. I'm not mad about anybody trying to get their money, especially when you look at somebody being the number one receiver on his team. Regardless of Debo Samuel and George Kittle, as far as the wide receiver position, Brandon Aiyuk is the number one receiver on that team. So I understand it. But now, again, you're dragging yourself down and you're pulling other people down with you. That happened to be my team and my quarterback, my brand new shiny quarterback. So
Yeah.
this is a little bit of an issue. But anything else you want to add to the Brandon Aiyuk situation before we move on?
Nah, just I mean, it would be. I think that would be a scary combo. Him and Terry McLaurin and all the other weapons
Absolutely.
you have on the perimeter, unless they pay that man so much he handicaps the rest of the franchise. And I'm a receiver guy, you a receiver guy,
Absolutely.
but I ain't trying to have you know so much money tied up, in two receivers that you can't do anything else. You see what's going on with the Bengals with T. Higgins. He'll probably be gone next year just because of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
You probably ain't unless you both are just that dude like that. Which not saying it can't happen because I think T. Higgins is that dude. I think when he gets on his own, gets his own team, and he's the number one guy, I think he'll be an all pro kind of guy. But even with that, the Bengals are not. They're not going. They ain't going. So as long as they don't handicap the team, and then kind of like what happened, and I hate to even bring this up, kind of what happened with Griff
Hmm.
um, in 2012, RG3 for those who don't know, but kind of like what happened with him, where it was like the I won't say the name, but the now Commanders defense was lights out.
Hmm.
Couldn't score a lick, but defense was lights out. We draft Robert Griffin III. Now all of a sudden defense forgot how to play. So it's so many scenarios with all that, man. Like it's nuts, but it would be interesting to see. It would for sure.
So last thing before we get, I know you gotta roll out in a little bit. So I want to have a little bit of fun before we got up out of here. Since we're talking about wide receivers and number one receivers and all of this kind of stuff, guys getting paid, elite players getting paid. I saw a clip earlier on the pivot. Shout out to the pivot once again. Them interviewing Amon Ross St. Brown, and Ryan Clark asked Amon Ross St. Brown to build his perfect receiver. I believe the categories he included were speed, hands, toughness, route running, and footwork. I believe those were the four categories. I might be missing one. All right, so if we're building our perfect receiver, again, me being a detail oriented coach, former receiver, yourself being the exact same way, we're going to build our perfect receiver, right? So let's start off with speed. If you're building your perfect wide receiver, whose speed are you taking at the receiver position? Current or former receivers? Anybody's fair game.
Oh man, that's Moss. Randy, sorry. No disrespect, Santana. You did a lot for the franchise, but Randy.
I can respect that. And if Randy's speed was different. Randy didn't look fast because his legs were long as hell, but Randy was
Yeah.
especially young Randy. He was electric. I think to be fair and to counter that, I gotta go with Tyreek Hill speed. I know
Mm.
a big part of that is he's just small, and you know what I'm saying. If Tyreek Hill was 6'5", I don't even if he would have the same speed, but I haven't seen too many people with that kind of functional game speed ever.
I'm ashamed of your ass.
Tyreek, what? What?
We 90s babies. Come on with this Tyreek Hill
Hey
stuff.
man, everybody is fair game.
I hear you,
Everybody is
bro.
fair game, and we can't build the same player.
I hear you, bro. You probably think Jordan the GOAT, don't you?
We are talking football right now, sir. So
Yep. All
here we
right.
go. We are talking football, man. You can't anyway. Listen, we talking football right now. So you want to go with Randy speed? I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill speed. Cool. I
All right.
already know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask you anyway because they don't know.
Right.
Who's, you know what? Whose size are we taking? Let's go size first. Size wise, who you taking? Building the perfect receiver.
You talking about on the scale or
Like
height?
height, like build, like height and weight wise, build wise.
So
Who's
both of them.
whose build are you taking?
That's not actually as clear cut. I know who you think I'm gonna say, and I probably am gonna say him, but
Well, no, I know your answer for the next one.
because Megatron's the easy answer, but I could say Larry Fitzgerald as well. He's 6'3", 220, 225, but the perfect build.
It's not even
You
hard for
could,
me. It's Calvin
you,
Johnson.
you,
It's not even.
I about to say you could go T.O. with an 8 pack and
You talking
ain't got no
about,
damn body fat. My
man?
man is
Listen,
fit. I'm going with that actually. Let's go
going
T.O.
to.
My
Okay,
man, 50 years old, still look like that.
that's cool. That's cool. So I got Calvin Johnson. What 6'5", 240, playing
Yeah,
one of the
T.O.
4-3,
6, what was T.O. 6'3",
6'3".
225,
That's
220?
fine. So I got Calvin right now. I got Calvin Johnson with Tyree speed, and you have To with Randy Moss's speed. Still both dangerous, right? I
Yeah,
already,
I got the T.O. 10 pack down
I
here.
already, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. We wearing football jerseys. Ain't nobody gonna see that no way. I I know your answer to this question. I feel like I know your answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Whose hands are you taking?
Oh, Larry Fitzgerald.
Of course.
That's obvious.
I mean, look at. Of course, he picked Larry Fitzgerald, right? I can't argue with that. I really can't. My answer is different, but I can't disagree with Larry Fitzgerald. If you know, you know, Larry Fitzgerald didn't drop nothing. But again, with us being '90s babies, when you talk about Randy Moss, his last name literally became synonymous with catching the football for an entire generation of people.
Yeah.
So I can't, and for me, it would be if I had to layer them, it'd be Randy Moss number one, Larry Fitzgerald probably number two, and then for me, a sneaky one to be Chris Carter number three. But again, a lot of people ain't hip to that.
That's what
But
I was gonna say if
but yeah,
it wasn't fixed.
but when you talk about Randy Moss again, his last name became like when you were a kid, even for us, all the way up through high school and college, which all you wanted to do as a not all, but as a receiver, I'm gonna maul somebody today. I ain't
Yeah.
finna fix
Hell yeah.
nobody. I ain't finna Chris. I'm finna maul somebody today. So
Hey,
as a
I still say that to the kids I coach now. You know,
absolutely,
now
they
now
want to
they
head
call that
tap and
joint,
do all that. Yeah, no, no,
man,
no,
all the head
yeah, no,
tap.
no, no,
Hey,
no.
first of all,
You
hey,
mauled them.
segue, dog. If anybody out there can explain this whole the head tap and all,
It's
I don't get it. I know I sound like the old head because
it's a
we call it a
yeah,
moss.
it's a cultural and generational thing. Today put me
Uh,
in the ground. That's gonna be a Moss. I
that's
do
a
not care.
moss.
That's a Moss all day, every day. But that's why I have to go with Randy Moss on the hand side. I have
Yeah,
to.
yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
Now this next one is something that is near and dear to both of our hearts. Whose route running are you going with? Route running slash
Ooh.
footwork. I know my answer, but it's easy for me. But
I mean, I know who you're gonna pick, and I'm low key thinking the same thing. It's just, is there anybody else like close to
listen,
him?
I'm going with Chad Johnson.
Yeah,
Ocho
yeah,
Cinco.
I know you are. I personally think I'm just trying to think. Is he the greatest route runner ever? Like he might be, but I'm trying
I
to think.
I think if you break it down to just footwork and because you know route running and you know talking about attacking leverage and all that kind of stuff is
Yeah,
deeper into when you just talk about route running. But if you talk about just footwork, I don't even think it's really a
yeah,
much
just
of a
footwork
debate.
and the way it just looks,
Yeah,
the aesthetics of it.
absolutely, absolutely. I can't.
It's him. I would say it's him, or as some people may think I'm tripping. Because to me, the obvious answer is either Chad Johnson
Mhm.
or Jerry Rice.
I think
But
Jerry Rice is underrated in that category.
it's a clip of Jerry Rice running routes at practice. Hey yo,
Oh yeah,
he is destroying people,
yeah.
and it
That don't
don't look like it don't look the greatest, but he's attacking leverage. All I know is he's going this way and dudes is going that way.
right. So if you get deeper into route running, I think you talking now. You talking about Jerry Rice, Devontae Adams, guys like that. But if we just break it down to
Yes,
footwork,
yeah,
if you're just talking about footwork, I've never seen a wide receiver with better footwork than Chad Johnson. It was
yeah,
effortless. Like he would even say, like, they don't pay me for my hands, they pay me for my feet.
yeah. That's
Like, you know
fact.
what I mean? And that was real. And to any young receivers watching this, if you get a chance, watch Chad Johnson.
Yeah,
Like, a
yeah,
lot of the receivers that you see today, with all due respect to them, they're good, they're quick, they're fast, and all of that. But a lot of the better receivers in football nowadays don't have the best technique. They're great athletes. They can jump high. They can run fast. But as far as being technically sound wide receivers, it's not all the way there. Chad Johnson, his feet were so good, he didn't even need to use his hands, and you couldn't touch him. Like, he could stop on a dime and change direction. It was crazy. But
yeah,
the last level of what Ryan Clark asked Amon-Ra St. Brown was toughness. Now, I feel like I know your answer to this question, to this one as well, but I'm gonna, because a lot of other people don't, outside of football, don't respect who I think you're going to say.
yeah.
But who you taking? Whose toughness are you taking in your perfect receiver?
Man, I see. I could go with Fitz with this as well because
Okay,
he was an
that's
all
not
around
that's not
dude.
where I thought you was going, but
No, I said I could. I
okay,
could.
okay.
I already took him with hands, and I ain't going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But my answer is Hines Ward.
That's where I thought you was going.
Easy, like
So,
easily.
you know what? My answer was Steve Smith or Anquan Bolden. I'll probably go with Steve Smith, but Hines Ward,
Hey, I'll tell you
Hines
who
Ward.
my. Can I tell you who
Go ahead.
my sleeper is though?
Go ahead.
And a lot of people outside of football heads don't remember this dude also. And if you from the crib, aka DC, you should definitely know this guy also, Pierre Garcon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pierre Garcon, like the mean streak he played with, like, it was crazy. But Hines Ward was different because Hines Ward was a smaller receiver,
Yeah,
and he would, not only could he take a hit, he could deliver a hit like he was playing like middle linebacker.
yeah,
Like, if Hines Ward caught you loafing, trying to turn that corner across the middle field on a block, he's gonna clean you up.
yeah,
But like, Hines Ward's blocking ability and his toughness, like, I've never, really, even Steve Smith. Steve Smith was tough, but he doesn't have the physicality without the ball in his hands that Hines Ward has. Hines
yeah,
Ward didn't care about catching the football. We can run this ball 72 times today. I promise you, I'm going to knock somebody out on
yeah,
65 of these plays. Like, Hines Ward was built like that. He was just different. So I'm gonna go with Steve Smith just to be different. But like I
yeah,
said, Steve Smith's toughness came with the ball in his hands and his mentality. Hines Ward's toughness was like, if you get in my way, I'm gonna hurt you. If we give this ball to my running back, whether it's Jerome Bettis or Willie Parker or whoever else they had, at the time, if my running back is getting this ball and you think you finna lay a finger on whoever got this football, I promise you it's not gonna go how you think it's finna go. Like, Hines Ward was trying to hurt people, and
yeah,
so I would never disrespect Hines Ward by saying he don't belong up there. Me saying Steve Smith is just kind of just to be different than you. So for my list, I got Calvin Johnson's build, I have Chad Johnson's feet, Tyreek Hill's speed, Randy Moss's hands, and Steve Smith's toughness. Who you
that's
got?
fine. Yeah.
I mean, that's a bad boy. You know what I mean? But who you got?
I had To's build,
Okay,
To's build, Randy Moss speed.
that
You
don't mean
got Randy
nothing.
Moss. You got the 4.2 speed. Hands, Larry Fitzgerald's hands. You got Hines Ward's toughness, and you took Chad. So I just went on. Actually, I didn't even really give my pick, but Devontae Adams route run.
Okay, that's fair. Last question. Last question, and I'm gonna let you go. Between the two receivers that we just built, the perfect receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they are on the same team, who's
Mm-hmm.
the X? Who's the X? If both of our perfect receivers on the same team, who's the X?
I mean, being unbiased, I'm trying to actually think about it because I could just say mine just on some competitive stuff, but
Nah, I think my receiver. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I think my receiver is the X because I think the receiver I built is more of a go and get it type of guy. Because you added that extra dimension with Hines Ward being there, I think your receiver will be more of a Z because he'd be more physical and a bit of a better blocker. So I'm gonna take my receiver as the X. You being the Z only, but only for function, and also you got To. He's a little bit smaller than my receiver as well. So
Hey
little,
man,
little small.
we running the air raid. It don't matter who. It don't matter who's where, dog.
Man, I just had to ask, man. I had to try to get the
Yeah.
upper hand on you, like what I mean. But
I
is
got a
it
question for you. Can I
talk to
flip the script real quick?
talk to me?
In Coach Breeze and Coach Irby's prime,
Okay.
your physical peak, who's the X?
Uh. Okay. So we got to
Ah,
break this down, right?
we
We got to
about to get
break this
all
down.
politically.
We got to
Hey,
break this
for
down.
everybody that watched the show
We
regularly, your
we gotta
man is
we
getting
gotta break
politically
this
correct.
down because okay, all right, right.
He's getting politically correct, people.
Route running. You were a better route runner than me. Although we ran routes differently, you were a better route runner than me, right? You were faster than me. I think I was quicker, but you were faster than me. I was a little bit bigger than you, and our at the same right now it's not even a question. You're bigger and still in better shape than me. But at our peaks, let's say Dean in Kentucky, I was a little bit bigger than you weight wise.
Oh yeah, he's way bigger than me.
Yeah, Dean for sure. I was 215, but um, I
I don't
think
think
I
I
was
sniffed. I don't even think I sniffed 170 at you, bro.
I think I was more physical. So probably a bit of a better blocker. I was a possession receiver. So if we talking about it, if we talking about it like that, I would what?
Did you just say you was more physical than me?
So blocking wise, absolutely.
Man.
Outside of that dumb stuff that you did in practice that day, but that's a whole other conversation that we're not going to bring up.
We definitely
But
not bringing that up.
but I can give you the X. I can give you the X. I think I'm more functional as a Z receiver.
Hmm.
I think I will be an elite Z and a good X. Cause I think you're better at it. I can do it, but like for what our skill sets were, you being more of a take the top off the defense kind of guy if need be. I'm a run the slants and the digs and posts and all that stuff and get my head knocked off. You gonna run screens and fades and run past people. So I'll give you that. You could be the X. That's fine.
I like how you just did that. So what you just did was basically say, I'm the pretty dude, you the grimy guy. You the guy that's gonna grind it out. You gonna run the curls and the hitches, the post curls, the digs, and I'm just gonna stay outside the numbers like I can't run a slant or
No,
something.
no, because
The
we
nerve of you.
no, because we can both flip it. So I can run fades, I can run screens and stuff like that, and you can run slants and posts and digs. Like it's not like I can only do one thing, you can only do one thing. Is I think your game is better suited for this, and my game was better suited for that. I think that's why we
Hey,
actually play well with each other.
the next thing you know, you're gonna say all I am is a bubble screen guy. That's
No, I wouldn't do
crazy.
that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do
That's
that. You were a willing blocker, but okay. I'm basing this off of JUCO. I'm basing a big part of this off of JUCO because that's probably when I was at my peak. Maybe the first year at Kentucky, but I'm talking about at Dean. That was probably my physical peak. Was that spring at
yeah,
Dean? So
yeah, I feel that.
that's what I'm basing it off of. But you're a willing blocker. You can block. It's not that you don't want to block or you can't. I think I was just a little bit. I was bigger than you at the time, so you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. And you know what though? I can't even say too much because I ain't even see the whole spring practice, so I don't know.
Well, that again. Now we getting way deep in the water. Now that's a whole
Hey, I was
that's
just
part
saying.
two of the interview. That's
I'm
part two of
just
the interview.
saying.
We
I ain't
can,
see it, brother.
hey man, film don't lie. Tape sees
Yeah,
everything,
man,
right?
man. Coach, I hope you're doing well.
I don't. Um, I mean,
Sheesh,
hey man, I mean,
sheesh, man. You gotta live and let God, brother.
hey man, what does Shannon Sharp say? I ain't gonna keep turning the other cheek. That's in the Bible. I ain't in there. You know what I'm saying?
I hear
I
you.
you know what
I
I'm
hear you.
saying? I ain't in
You on
there.
that? You on that old school Rick Ross? God forgives,
Hey,
I don't.
hey, listen. I can forgive. I just don't forget. You feel me?
I feel
And
you. I feel you.
Had that spring gone differently for both of us, who knows what could have changed, what could have happened.
Yeah,
So,
it could have been a whole different path.
and none of it had to do with physical ability. So just leave it at that. But
Yeah, yeah, it's fair.
man, listen, man, you got to run the dinner, and I know I'm about to get cursed out in third person by a third party. So I'm gonna let you go, man. But I appreciate you, my brother, for jumping up here with me. My first official interview on Cooling Up with Coach Breeze, again brought to you by EBO Beer Butter. Shout out to EBO Beer Butter. My game day drip is not complete without EBO
Ed,
Beer
shout
Butter.
out Ed.
Yes, for sure. Shout out to Ed. One of my brothers again. And again, my game day drip is not complete without EBO Beer Butter. Again, Coach Jelani Irby, thank you, my brother. Go enjoy yourself tonight. Good luck this season. Um, and eventually, some point, we're gonna get you back to DC, and we gonna get the Avengers together, and we're gonna go, get some hardware in the city. You feel me?
If they ain't hating, man, you know how
Man,
that matters. But we'll see.
man,
We'll see.
listen, man. We gonna get it right. We gonna get it right. But again, man, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. Everybody watching this, please follow, share, like, subscribe, retweet, repost, all that good stuff. If you want Twitter, bookmark it, all of that fun stuff. And again, until next time, this has been the Cooling of Coach Breeze podcast, brought to you by EBO Beer Butter. And we gone.